introduce Fred Geller. Fred hails from Detroit, Michigan, and served 30 years as a U.S. Army officer. A teaching assignment to the Army War College brought Fred to Pennsylvania in 2012, and he now lives in the Carlisle area. Fred retired from the Army War College as an Army civilian instructor this past July so that he could become district governor. I added that. Fred's Rotary
That's partly true.
Fred's Rotary journey began through his mother, who was a district governor in a district in southeast Michigan. He joined Rotary in 2012 and is a member of the Carlisle Sunrise Club. In the club, he served as the membership chairman and as the club president. At the district level, he has served as the area membership chair and the assistant governor for Group A. He is a graduate of the Rotary Leadership Institute and has attended Rotary Zone and international conventions. He's a member of the Paul Harris Society, the Polio Plus Society, and is a major donor. Fred holds a bachelor's degree in physics from Wayne State University, a master's degree in astrophysics from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, and a master's degree in strategic studies from the U.S. Army War College. He has been awarded the Excellence in Teaching and Excellence in Service Awards by the U.S. Army War College. He was awarded the Army's PACE Leadership Award by the Secretary of the Army in 2005. Fred and his wife Donna have been married for 38 years. They have 2 adult sons. The oldest is an Army veteran and now in nursing, and the youngest is in the molecular biology research field. Fred is involved in Boy Scouts and teaches firearm safety courses in the local community. He's an avid skeet shooter and enjoys woodworking as hobbies. I present to you your District Governor, Fred Geller.
Thank you, sir. All right, thanks. All right, we're going to pull up the slides, or all right, he's working on that. And do you want me to move them, or are you going to? Either way. Yeah.
Get slides from you.
Uh-oh.
Do you have
I can,
slides with you?
yeah, I got them on my computer, but I can just talk it even if I need to. But
Okay.
yeah. All right. So hopefully I'll remember all that I wanted to say here. All right. The main thing, and I absolutely do remember this, is I always start off by saying thank you. Thank you for being Rotarians. Thank you for the work you do down here in Elizabethtown. Thank you for the work you do across the community and the globe and all the activities that go on as Rotarians in this club. Thank you for doing that. That takes time and effort to do. And I certainly appreciate that, both as a fellow Rotarian, but also as your district governor, and watching all this and now getting around to different clubs and hearing about all that goes on in the club activities, monthly, weekly, all that. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Thanks for being part of Rotary. Okay, my talk centers on 3 things: service, learning, and leading in Rotary. As I was rolling in to become the district governor, I was thinking about how did I get to this point in life? Do I really want to do this? All that kind of stuff. And I started thinking about the journey I've been on in Rotary. And it really comes down to those 3 things: service, learning, and leading. And so I'll just talk a little bit about each of those and maybe give you some things to think about as you continue in your Rotary journey. All right, so first, in the service arena, this club is no stranger to both local and international efforts. This district has an incredible history of service in South Central Pennsylvania. As I look at all the different club websites, see the pictures, and just see all that goes on. We've got multiple global projects ongoing, I think 5 currently. Glenn was just telling me he's part of the one heading out to Zambia shortly. That is a big project. What did you say, 50 some people heading out?
We have slides.
Thank you, sir.
Hold on, I think this is working.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks.
Forward, reverse.
Yep. High quality IT guys, worth gold. All right, so I said thank you. Our current president is Gordon McAnally from Scotland, a wonderful man. I've gotten to interact with him a few times on different things. He's asked us to consider 3 things. First, global peace. That has really come to light in the last week. but he's got Rotary thinking and looking at a number of things. Everybody familiar with Rotary has 6 what they call peace centers affiliated with universities, different places, Thailand, here in the United States at Duke University. We've gotten funding for building a 7th, and that will be established in Turkey and will open in 2025. And so these are intended to bring students in who study something related to peace, and then they're expected to go out and work in that field for a period of time. So he's asked us to work on global peace. Second, mental health. If you have not watched his video where he announces the theme, Create Hope in the World, it's on the RI website. Go up there. I commend that to you. It's a very emotional description of why he's picked the topics he's picked. But his younger brother in his 50s committed suicide from depression. And so he has asked us all to consider our fellow Rotarians and our community's mental health and do what we can to work on that. And then lastly, he's talked about the need for continuity in Rotary. One of the challenges in Rotary is changing leaders every year. And as an Army guy that's moved around a lot in my adult career, I really resonated with him when he said we got to focus on some of the continuity aspects because we can't just keep reinventing the wheel every year. So, and I love the fact that you've got 4 presidents lined up in the club. That's a form of continuity because they get to work together and understand what each one's wanting to do. And I'm doing the same with our governor line as well. I've said, here's a couple things I want to work on. Paul, the next governor, what do you want to do? Let's get some of that started so it isn't just on July 1, we dump what I was doing and pick up what he wants to do kind of thing. So those 3 things, mental health a little bit, work on peace a little bit, and then focus on some continuity in Rotary. In terms of the district, I get to go and have gone a couple places for training, zone level and international level, so you get to bump shoulders with all the different incoming governors. And I like our district. I think of us as a kind of a medium-sized district. There's districts that are in far worse shape than us. There's some districts that are in better shape too, but we're a good district. We've got a lot going on. We've got good, solid clubs, lots of Rotarians doing lots of good things. And I want to pass it on to you that we're a good, medium-sized district. Now, do we have a few challenges? Of course we do. There's been about a 5 or 6 year trend of losing membership in the district. So we're down 500 some members from when I started in 2012, and we just got to do what we can to stem the tide. So the first thing I ask each Rotarian to do is talk to somebody about Rotary. That's how I got into this, right? I made the mistake of mentioning my mom had been a district governor to a guy at work, and he said, well, you're in Rotary, right? No. He said, oh, you are now, and away we went. And it's been a lot of fun. I'm actually very glad I'm in this. Did lose 1 club last year. That was sad to see Shippensburg go. We're looking at what we can do to maybe restart something down there, whether in the town or at the school. But that was just a tough shift to lose that club. All right. And then the last thing I'll mention is, the youth exchange program, students going out to foreign countries, foreign students coming into us, both long-term and short-term. That program has been declining in numbers over the last few years. And so I just want to raise that awareness, whatever the club can do to help in those arenas, whether you sponsor a student or pair up with another club or something, or get students to apply. That's another thing that has to happen is find quality students and ask them to apply to make this program go, because there's huge benefits long-term to having these students come here and go out to other countries. But it's been declining in numbers. I think we have 5 in the district now, a pretty small number. So anything you can do in that arena would be appreciated. All right, my goals are pretty simple for the year. The main one is I'd love to end the year net +1 on membership. We'll see if we can do that or not. I'm just asking folks to work on this some. If you talk to somebody in Rotary and they can't come here on a Friday at noon, put them to a different club. Just get them in, get them involved kind of thing. All right, so I mentioned serving, learning, and leading. I already talked the service aspect. President Jeff mentioned about the foundation dinner. I'm glad to hear some are already going. More are welcome. We're trying to make this, as much as we can, a celebration of all the great things that have gone over the past year, both locally and internationally, with the clubs, the projects, the money, all those kinds of things. And so we're working on pictures and a video, and we're going to highlight some really cool projects that have gone on. So please come join us and help celebrate all that has happened in this district. And the other piece that I'll add, just maybe entice you a little bit, is Governor-elect Paul's gotten some musical entertainment from the Milton Hershey School, so a little extra benefit for your evening's entertainment. All right, learning. So I spent 11 years teaching at the War College and 3 more teaching at West Point years ago. So I'm a big educator. And as I thought about my journey in Rotary, a lot of it's been learning, right? Going to different things, figuring out what Rotary is, what it's involved in, how does it do what it does. And so I want to pass on a couple things that I think you might want to try. All right, so the first is Rotary Leadership Institute. We just ran a session of this last month here in the district. We belong to the Northeast America Division of Rotary Leadership Institute. If you go on their website, you can find courses. They're all over the place, New York, Massachusetts. Some of that's, I know, a bit of a drive. There will be one online in February. No easier way to complete this than just get online in the comfort of your home. But give this a thought, because the first time I went to RLI early in my time in Rotary, it really just opened my eyes to Rotary, like how big this organization is, all that goes on, how it's organized, things that I could take back to my club. I was very, very happy to go to RLI, and then I finished up with the remaining 2 parts. And Dennis, are you still teaching with RLI? So you have an instructor right here in the club that can help you understand what goes on at RLI. Anything you want to add about RLI?
Wilkes-Barre on the Saturday the 28th of this month in RLI. You can still register.
Okay.
I'll be there.
Great. And then.
What's that? It's in Wilkes-Barre, not Scranton. Wilkes-Barre.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I put Scranton. All right, I'll fix that.
It's a much more popular city.
Okay. All right.
Says a Scranton.
Yeah.
Wilkes-Barre's not bad.
Our zone runs a couple different things, and I'll mention 2. So we just were, 2 weeks ago, we were up in Toronto. It is mostly for incoming leaders, governor leaders, other leaders as well. But one of the things a few years ago our zone did is they said, hey, this is really open to any Rotarians. And so I just want to mention this to you because they'll do this again next September, late September, in Toronto. It'll be in Toronto. They already announced that. And this is an opportunity for a couple, 3 days to rub shoulders with the various Rotary leaders. The incoming president of Rotary was there, Stephanie Urchek, a Pennsylvanian. She lives in McMurray, Pennsylvania, just near Pittsburgh. She was there, our zone director, a whole host of folks there, governors, incoming governors. They had breakout sessions on everything from leadership to public image to how to use social media. There's a lot there that you can kind of choose from. And then just rub shoulders with all kinds of Rotarians from Canada and Northeast United States. They had this big fundraiser event on Friday night. Anybody seen these Zorb bouncy balls? Think of this big inflatable donut thing that you put on and you kind of sumo wrestle. Well, your governor got into the ring and I won the first one. Then I got outmassed on the second one and I went flying. Because physics you can't undo physics. But we raised at that event. We raised over $100,000 for the Rotary Foundation. I just passed that on to you. It was pretty fun. You can rent the Zorb balls. Just go online. Maybe something you want to think about in a future club event. So next September, think about going. Maybe the club could sponsor somebody, but I guarantee you'll come back from it with more knowledge than you left, and you'll be inspired at some of the things people have going on in Rotary. The other thing I went to in August, the zone put on a conference up in Alaska. It was focused primarily on environment and the Arctic. They had done one previously down in the Bahamas focused on water and water issues. This one was on land. Despite the vagaries of air travel, and I had trouble going back up and coming back, both going up and back, that conference was very worth my time. I learned a great deal about what all's going on in the Arctic right now. It's things you hear about, right? The warming temperatures, but it's more than that. It's people migrations. It's about the changing economics of what this means as the Arctic opens, shipping lanes that we didn't used to have. What countries are benefiting from that? What countries are suffering because of that? It was very eye-opening, and I'm very glad I went. they'll run more of these. They pick different things, different topics, and as soon as we get the advertisements, we'll let you know. But this is another time that you can learn some things, interact with other Rotarians, and come away better for having gone. If there's anything I can tell you I learned out of this is the North is coming south. So all the various effects that you hear about in the Arctic, it's heading our way, right? And we're feeling it. Maybe it's kind of subtle right now, but it's everything from changing populations, where they're heading to, where they're coming from, to the climate change, all the climatic aspects that have been locked up in the Arctic are unleashing, and that is causing shifts in the patterns. And it's just something we all got to be aware of. By the way, I'm finishing a book on the Antarctic, and the same is true down there. It's just there's far less people down there, so you don't necessarily hear as much about Antarctica. Okay, conventions. I've been to 2, Atlanta in 17 and Houston in 22. Huge experiences. The entirety of Rotary's on display. Everything you can think of that Rotary's involved in is there. They got various sessions, breakout sessions, dinners. All of the Rotary leaders are there. You get to interact with them. Rotarians from every country in the nation, in the world. It's just one of those massive experiences that you should set sometime in your Rotary career to go to at least one of these. The next one is in Singapore at the end of May. Dennis and I are both going to that. I realize Singapore is a long way away. I've been one time before for a work-related trip. 15 hours from San Francisco to Singapore. That is a long flight. But I tell you, I think it'll be worth it. I was very impressed with Singapore when I was there. That is an incredible geographic location, incredible country, all that they've done to develop themselves, and they sit in a spot that's incredible. I walked up onto this old British fort called Fort Cannon, and it was where it was because it could see the entire harbor, and I just stand up there, and I am looking out as far as I can see into the Pacific Ocean, and it is ships just lined up to get through the Malacca Straits. It blew me away. I had never seen that before, and I was amazed at this, and that is every day, that shipping down in that area there. Now, if you can't get to Singapore, I realize it's a long way away. There's the next 3. So Calgary, Canada, you can drive to that if you want. Taipei, Taiwan, a little difficult to drive there. And then Honolulu, Hawaii. So the 2020 convention was supposed to be Honolulu, but you know what happened in 2020, so they're circling back. Having been stationed in Hawaii twice, I guarantee you will enjoy Hawaii. The weather's awesome. So for your future planning, try to get to one of those conventions. I think you'll find it worthwhile. All right, the last part is leading in Rotary. I realize Rotary takes time. I realize that leading in any organization, this one or others or a job, adds pressures and stress. But I have also benefited from the times that I've volunteered to lead something in Rotary, whether it's a project. So one of our club projects was to refurb the Rotary Lodge at Hidden Valley Scout Camp. I'm a big Boy Scout leader. That was special to me to use Rotary in that way to help the camp. That lodge had been built in the 50s by the Harrisburg Club, and then the Carlisle Sunrise Club in 2018 did some refurb of it. To other things in the community, leading at the club level, leading at the district level. I've gotten a lot out of that in developing me and helping me experience Rotary. So I ask each of you to think about what could you put your hand up and lead in this year or next, whether it's in a position. Right, I guarantee you President Jeff will take applications starting today for any variety of things in the club, or just a project or something that would help the club. Put your hand up and say, hey, I will work on that. What are you passionate about? What do you feel strongly about? But commit to something this year or next to help the club or the district. We have plenty of needs at the district level. But I guarantee you will gain from it just as much as you give. We got a number of things at district level that you may be interested in, from a Rotary Veterans Initiative, helping veterans who've come out of service. Usually it's dealing with things with school, but it can also be job-related. A variety of things with youth, youth exchange, the 4-way test, those kinds of things. We have needs all over the district for people to kind of get involved. Assistant governors, I very much appreciate Alan being here and his team. His fellow assistant governors help us see the district, interact with the clubs, and help the clubs. We could always use assistant governors in the future. So just give some of that a thought as well. Okay, that is my prepared remarks. I always ask for any questions, comments, concerns, so I'll open it up to you. What do you want to ask me? Tell me. Dennis.
Just to make a comment. So,
Sure.
The district governor, I watched a lot of district governors, and I just want to make a comment that watching, observing you, you have done a great job of preparing for this role.
Oh, thanks. Sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate your comments about mental health. I spent a lot of my time in that in my 40 years as a Rotarian, but it's as bright a future as we can make. So I have a book on a speaker last week, and I have his copy. I will get you a copy.
Thank you. But yeah, anything we can do collectively, internal to the club, in the town, whatever, to help promote some of this. So just a few days ago, our zone ran a mental health webinar kind of thing. I listened to it. It was about an hour and a half. It was well done, and I picked up on a few things. The three main things that they said we all can help work on is remove the stigma, increase capacity, and check on each other. That last one's pretty simple, really, right? They have this phrase, how are you doing, really? Right? We all say, hey, how's it going? How you doing? And we just say, fine, right? They add that really part to get into, no, really, how are you doing? So those three things I thought were pretty powerful coming out of that webinar. But thank you for that. Sir?
In your exposure to Rotary, what's the most successful club exposure initiative that was ever implemented? That's number one. Number two, when were you in Hawaii? Were you at Schofield there?
So I was in Schofield 98 to 2000, and then I was at Shafter in 8 to 11, 2008, 2011.
Okay. I was 92, 95, I was at Kunita.
Okay. Yeah, the tunnel, right? Were you down in the tunnel? Yeah. Okay.
They don't let me involved.
Old Army guys. Okay. Club initiatives. There's a variety of things, big and small. I don't know if I can pick one specifically at the top of my head. I will tell you one that's currently going on. So I'm in the Carlisle Sunrise Club. We have a good working relationship with the Noon Club in Carlisle. The two clubs are working right now. They've kind of surveyed the businesses in and around Carlisle. And then they're comparing that to our membership. And they're looking for which companies are not represented in the two Rotary clubs. And they're going to sit down with them and invite them to participate in Rotary. I look forward to some results coming out of that kind of thing. But we're working on that right now kind of thing. So there's one example. Another one is a couple of years ago, a club did this evening where they asked each Rotarian to bring somebody that they're connected to through their business. Okay, it could be a different business, it could be somebody at their business, whatever. But bring somebody they're connected to from their business to an evening where we talked a little bit about Rotary and then had some food and drinks, that kind of stuff. That gained a couple of members. So those are two off the top of my head. The last one is we just ran a Rotary Means Business in Lancaster. I thought it went very well, about 20 people there. Mostly Rotarians, a couple of non-Rotarians, but that's another one. If the Elizabethtown Club wanted to sponsor one of those, sometimes Rotary Means Business is a nice little simple thing to do where you ask people to come. They get to talk a few minutes about their business, but it's a lot of interacting, networking kind of thing. And then the last one, I'll just circle back to something I said a little while ago. I am personally responsible for 9 being in my club, and it's all about I say to somebody, "What do you know about Rotary? Let's get you to a meeting to check it out." And in fact, we just inducted my 9th one a couple weeks ago in my club. But it all just came down to me asking somebody about, or talking to somebody about Rotary and inviting to a meeting. So there's 3 ideas. As you guys figure things out, come up with something, let me know. I will spread it to the rest of the district because we're all struggling. I'm kidding you. I'm not kidding you. You're the 14th club. Every club says to me, we're struggling on membership. What ideas do you have? And it's both heartening that all the clubs are focused on membership, but it's also worrisome that all the clubs are having to focus on membership. So we'll see. Thanks for that, sir.
A number of years ago, our club sponsored foreign exchange students, one from Poland and one from Brazil. And we had each of those students in our home for a number of months. And today, every time something happens in Poland, kind of wonder how Yagoda's doing. Or Brazil, what was her name? Pia, yeah. And I hear about her every once in a while from somebody. So it's really a great thing to keep, somebody personally, that makes a difference.
Yes, it does.
How you hear the news.
Yep.
And I'm really we used to have, we had a big room full of foreign exchange students. And all of our district events and programs I would take, you go to 2 or whatever, and to only have 5, that's disappointing.
Yep. It's a challenge getting host families. There's just, I'll cut to the chase. It's a challenge. There is some expense involved in this, so that's another issue. One of the things that's being looked at is a couple people are exploring, could we have a Rotaract club focused on these exchange students that we've had, called the Global Rotaract Club. So that's, we're looking into that, see how might we do that to keep those connections going with these students that have either gone out or come into the district. Okay. Oh, all right, Glenn.
So I don't remember what it was called, but at least now there was a district assembly or district conference where the two guys from the peace places were there.
That was last April at the district conference, yeah. Yep.
And I look at that whole event as one of the highlights of my Rotary career.
Yep.
That discussion of those
Yep.
two guys up there. How timely was that?
Yep.
Okay. But it really wasn't publicized. Like, I didn't know they were going to be there. And maybe it was, I didn't pay attention. But that was a big deal. Like, not just for the district, but that whole conversation could have been on ABC News tonight, and it would have been riveting. I'm wondering how those guys are doing in light of everything. I don't know how we keep in touch with them, but it was just fascinating.
Just making a quick note here. Thanks for that, and I'll take that to heart about the how did we advertise that. Okay, and then there was one over here. Thanks.
I'm really thrilled about the thrust of mental health with our president, McNally. I'm very active with National Alliance on Mental Illness, our Lancaster chapter. And one of the things missed, of course, erasing stigma and all those things are awesome. Often missed is funding, because there are areas, even just in Pennsylvania, the entire county, there's no psychiatrists available. All the caseworkers, case managers, social workers are so underpaid with minimum wage that they burn out so quick, because it's like, what's keeping them? So without going on about that, but that is, I think, also another bullet point that should be.
Sure. One of the things that got mentioned, there was a NAMI speaker on that webinar, but one of the things got mentioned, and I may have the numbers wrong, but it was pretty startling. It's something like your typical medical professional, so regular health kinds of things, physical health, doctors, whatever, they're in the hundreds of thousands of dollars in pay, right? I'm just talking averages. Mental health professionals, psychiatrists, that kind of stuff, maybe 100,000. There was a huge, nationally, there's a big disparity in average pay for mental health professionals versus more the physical surgeons, those kinds of things. Yes, that is going to have to be looked at, because it's part of the reason they can't get enough providers. They just don't want to go into the business because they don't see the same benefit that they can do in other things. So thank you. All right, one more. Anything else? Sir.
I just want to say it felt really good when you said that the district is doing good and that we are in a part of it. I didn't hear. I haven't heard that in a long time, and it felt good. So keep spreading that.
All right. So to be clear, I tend to be a half full kind of guy, which is a little surprising for an Army guy, because I've been sent a lot of places that are not great. But But yeah, I do try to look at the bright side, right? I could sit there and bemoan the loss of people and all that kind of stuff, but I also see just some incredible things going on in this district. People, I mean, you should just the ride to polio, right? They're coming up next weekend. It's just one small example of hundreds of things going on throughout our South Central Pennsylvania. So thanks for that. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate lunch and glad to meet with you. I'm not rushing away, so I'll be here for a little bit if anyone wants to ask me anything else. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my